Get used to that sound. The sound is all around. The sound of dice. Welcome. It's time to learn how to play Dungeons and Dragons and how to play Dungeons and Dragons online. I am the blind DM. How are you guys doing? Sorry if the visuals aren't good. Um, I'm legally blind. I can see like a little bit. I have RP, but it doesn't slow me down. And I used to use all the books. I started with first edition in the 70s, and then I started to DM in the 80s and 90s, and some other years after that. Yeah, I game as much as I can, a couple times a week if I can. It's my thing. It's my thing. All right. Now I'm a dad. My daughter's been gaming since she was 5. She started as the familiar. She played like the dragon familiar that would go along with the party. It's awesome. It's everywhere. Now we're home, isolated at home. Everyone's at home right now. Uh, what are we going to do? We're going to stop playing D&D? No. Are you going to stop playing D&D?
No.
Should we stop?
No.
Will we ever stop playing D&D?
No.
That's right. Keep going. Keep using your imagination. Be free. You can't go out in this reality. Go out in Dungeons and Dragons reality. You can, there's so many things you can do. And I'm disabled, but in D&D, I can be anything I want to be, right? All right. So, your dice. First thing I'd like to do is show you something you've never seen before. Let's see. Yep. All right. I'm sure you. Oh, yeah. You said for it, but have you ever seen a 7-sided die? Sorry. That's right. Have you ever seen one? 7-sided die. And this one has Braille on it for people like me. A good friend at Google made this for me. All right, dice. Dice are important and interesting dice keep things interesting. But now maybe you don't have dice, but you have Google. You can just ask Google, hey, Google, roll a D20, and Google will do it. So some people are concerned, I don't have dice. Of course, collecting your own dice, and my daughter loves dice. Kids love dice. And I would say, all right, every third level, I'll give you a new set of dice. Dice, they can really be used as an incentive, but you don't need those. What you need really is just a good imagination and a friend. That's it. A friend first. And if your friend's imagination is good, then there you go. That's good. How to play D&D. So online, I've been playing strictly over Facebook because I tried those. There's like a Roll20, and then there's it's not dystopia. It's like this something, and then I tried all these ones, and they're too complicated. All right, for me, I can send images. We can do video chat, even though audio chat's fine for anyone really because it's theater of the mind. And I think in online you trust players, um, and you work together. And for me, it's actually the same because I'm blind. So, but I think back, I don't remember sitting on the table or sitting on my computer or sitting on my phone. I remember fighting, the owl bear, oh no, we lost a crew member. So let me briefly tell you about a game we just did with the brother John was the dungeon master, the DM or GM game master, because we don't strictly use TSR rules. We use our own rules, even though we love, especially Gary Gygax. The first thing he said was listen to the DM. I hate rule mongers who say on page 75 of the player's handbook, it says a dwarf must gain 2,700 experience points to get to first level. No. Listen to the DM. Listen, go with the flow for the stories. Don't get too bogged down in that. In fact, the awesome game we just played, we'll call it the Island game. Started on a ship. We were slaves. We didn't even roll up characters. Usually we roll up characters and they have statistics, stats, strength, dexterity, wisdom, constitution, charisma, sometimes comeliness or bravery. We can add your own skills, but the main few are those. And Since the 70s, we've been doing roll 4d6, take the highest three for each stat. Now, what this does is makes people not so weak because these are going to be hero stories, right? We all want to be the hero stories. So, in our story, though, we're going to do that after the first or second time, see who survives, and to get people into it. So, we start right away. So, you're on a ship, you're imprisoned. Oh, there's an explosion. There's like uh, the ship starts to rock. There's a giant, mangled, weird giant chained up next to you and your friends. That's what happened to us. It was exciting. All right, and some guards came by to taunt us one last time as they're fleeing the ship. That's our one chance. We grabbed it. Luckily, Little Red, ran his head into the luckily ran his head into the bars so hard because it's all about using your head. He was heads above the rest. I'm like the comedic. My character was the comedy, but also I would instigate and get other people into it, right? So uh there were like four of us, and uh yeah, five of us. It was cool. So we worked together to break out. First, we had to break out of the cell. We antagonized the guy who got close enough, and luckily, the sacrifice of the head butter, we got out. But then immediately, the pirates, they came at us. They were slavers. We were slaves. We were their property. But we will not stand for that. We stood up against them, and we took the body of the one we had just beaten down, and three of us worked together, and we used that as like a shield, a human shield. Oh, then we found a way to free our friends. Just the water was rising. The guy's head was stuck in the bars while we did this, and we didn't have time to get him out first. So what we did is we broke the giant out with the weapons that we procured from the pirate slaver guards. A couple. Owen took a wound. I know. And then Rocco found his inner fire. That was really cool. Inner fire. Um, Magic. Oh, magic is so much fun. His inner fire. So uh, I describe it as inner fire, and the DM did a great job. Me and him co-DM often, which is something we'll get into later. But for magic spells, I love the books are awesome in that they have descriptions of the spells. And with new players, I like them to write out a poem, like as a spell. Violets are as simple as they want, or as complex as they can do it. But even as simple as that, but it gets them to do it. Or I do whole campaigns where I teach people Chinese, 因为我说中文，我也在中文, and I got to start the first ever Dungeons and Dragons gaming convention in China called the Con. I think it was 2013. That was so good. So I've been in China 25 years, and I got to bring over Dungeons and Dragons, play some of the first games there, and also bring over Halloween. Imagine that. I got to bring them Halloween. But that's what it feels like. Teaching people Halloween, teaching people Dungeons and Dragons, it's such a good feeling. It really is a good feeling. So in our game, let's continue the cool story. We broke out, and Skip was there. Skip had to fight Skip Sullivan. He fought the chef. Like we were fighting. I was fighting the captain. There was the EXO with the saber fight, and then there was the sloppy Skip, the dad of three of the other players. He fought the fat chef, and they both bumbled, and neither of them did very good. But his sons came to his rescue, which was awesome. That's a good thing in any universe. If you have a chance where your sons can save you, I think that's really good. Oh yeah, Oscar. Well, Oscar was the one who hit his head. All right, so Oscar hit his head, as I remember now. Um, Oscar, and then Rocco found his magic red flame, and uh, Owen, he's just been like the hero, rolling better than the other guys, but it's not always rolling good. The story is more important. It's good to make a critical fail sometimes. So in the first edition and the edition I use, and homebrew, people like to say homebrew, my own version. Every DM has his own rules. I like to do skill checks. So if you want to make a cool jump and leap, then you have to roll under your dexterity statistic, right? So you rolled the 4d6 and it took the highest three. Maybe you got like a 16. That's good. So now on a d20, you have to roll less than a 16 on a regular jump. But if it's harder, you're gonna make it more difficult, right? All right, you're 16, but this is hard. This is a -3 check because it's a longer jump, so you have to roll a 13 or less. And then if it's really hard, super jump, I always say you have to roll half of what your stat is. Da, 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 da. And also, I do the same thing. If they're knocked down, they have to roll for constitution check to see if you're in shock, which happened, I think, 3 times in the game last night, the island game, but they all made their rolls, which was good. This team is really good at rolling low. Let's name it. We should call you the low rollers. The low rollers. I'm going to write that one down. Let's see if I can do that. The low rollers. All right. The low rollers. And we learned when we roll for initiative, it's best to use fingers because we use D6 initiative, which is old school. I can see using D10 if you want to add in weapon speed and stuff like that. But for these kind of games over the internet, we do it. So I rolled 5, I rolled 2, I rolled 6. In China, they use these hand signals for numbers: 8, 9, 10. So it not only teaches you Chinese numbering, but it's cool. It's fun. 8, right? And it's useful in the game because you'll have split screens, and sometimes the audio, will click out for a second, or even the video will freeze. But if it's holding it there, it's good. So definitely use your hands for initiative. We worked that out on the first game of the island game, which I thought worked pretty well. One thing is, if it is a video, whoever's in the middle of the video sort of gets more attention. So I would move chairs or move the camera every few minutes, maybe if you have multiple people in one room, which we did with the dad and his 3 sons, right? But often the game will just be one person, one camera, or one audio device, which is different. And you can also have side chats, which really were online. So if one person is playing a thief or a rogue, or if they just want to, do some sneaky stuff, depending on your game, a little sneaky stuff is good. I don't like too much, player on player backstabbing. I discourage that, but a little bit can be really fun. And if it's in character, that's all that's most important is your job and profession. So the ship was going down, the pirate ship. The guy with the inner fire, he realized the fire swept over, whoosh, killed the guy who was fighting, but avoided him, and then listened to him, and he could, talk to him, and he finally grabbed it with his hands, and he used it to burn the face. He did that. One thing we came up with was, that song, Hot Pockets. Yeah, but if he grabbed him and burned his crotch, we would say, crotch pockets. That's kind of fun. Yeah, that was funny. Because, and there's a spell, of course, burning hands. It's like one of the oldest spells in the original OG game, right? Burning hands. And so you could read out the spell, what it is, or you can just describe it. It's just really fun to work with spells that way. And then, like some people, they say, you need all the components. At this level, I would, I would let it slide or make it a verbal component for most of the things, but limit it. You can't use it over and over again the same day, right? So I think you could either say they collect it at night, or you ask them what do you do? And it's when it's resting time. I I either study my spell books. I collect um, I collect the components that I need, or I pray to my deity if I'm a cleric or something like that. So, but that's how we do spells. It's really fun. Definitely, the original books are the best. These new books, sure. And I heard like good stuff about Pathfinder and Fifth Edition, better than the other editions besides First, which is the one I use. Um, but I have to say, like Fifth Edition, still the combat is way too slow. Which the combat is slow. It's just my speed. Two fights, two encounters, and they're just fights usually with when I went. And that was it. 4 hours, 2 hours per fight. Nah, nah, nah. Fight should be 10 minutes, and then you have story, and then you have interaction, and then you have treasure, and then you have a puzzle. In my style, that's what I like to do. Keep it fast. The moment last night was very fast. All right, first we had to fight against the water, the bar. Then we had to fight against um, the guards. Then we had to figure stuff out, which way to go. Uh, where are what's going on here? Is the ship really sinking? How do we use the magic? Then we saw I made a deal. Who to make a deal with? I made a deal with the rats. We could have gone all these directions. I said what I would do in real life. If you're on a ship, follow the rats. The rats know which way to go. The rats know which way to go, yo. Animals instinctively know. I know I was in Asia during the tsunami of 2006, and a lot of people told me, yeah. Like this one guy said, he told me the story. He was on an elephant, and it just started going to higher ground, and it saved his life. I was in Phuket, Thailand. I was at the place 1 year before, so I was a game, and during our game, they uh the rats they helped. I made a deal with the rats, which is and you know, that's funny because over the years I've created a rat god called Yakne. A lot of my friends know about that, and I've done stories and games like years and years. So I made the deal that not maybe not in every universe I will protect the rats. And I have friends who have rats as pets. I love rats. Rats are fun. It's the year of the rat. Yes. All right. So we got them to work on a side, but of course, we broke out some other slaves. But the big battle, some of the rats definitely attacked the pirates, and some of the slaves too. Rats can't tell the difference. It's hard. But the boss battle, if you want to call it that, the captain, right? Uh, we got him down to the captain, one of the guy, and there was only three of us standing. A couple of us were knocked down, and the big guy was who saved us. He was wounded, but he was taking care of the boat. He was like dangling off with his big strong arm. I definitely see that. You want to die for this captain? Sure, some captains are worth dying for, but this guy, has he ever done you wrong? Is he worth fighting to the death for? And that guy thought for a second, and the DM rolled, John rolled, and the guy, which a lot of people do in real life, because your boss has your boss ever treated you bad? That's right. That's right. All those times the boss like dissed on you, it's gonna matter sometime, right? So the guy he made the roll, the charisma roll. That's how I would do it. So I would have it's my charisma against that guy, and um, rolled under. If I rolled under my charisma, I convinced him. And if I did a good job in real life, then I would give me pluses or something. And sure enough, the guy turned on the captain and helped us defeat him, which was good. And I got the captain's hat. we I know that Brother John has run this before, and he said a few times people stop for the gold and stuff, and they all died. If you stop for the gold, you get weighted down and died. I witnessed that once, and I heard about it another time, but this time everyone made the right choice not to stop for gold and get weighted down. But I did grab the hat, the captain's hat. We got on the ship, outside the lifeboats. The one with the wrecks got away, and we barely made it to the island. I know that. Skip, the dad, he was drowning, and I couldn't save him. I saved the one with the fire, who was very useful. The other guys, I was like, yeah, whatever happens to them, happens to them. But his son went back for him. I think Owen, who was good at rolling last night. So that was last night's fun game, the island game. Now we're on the island. So this island, we're trying to invite other people to have a similar adventure and a similar escape, or even a different escape, but meet up on the island. So I'm trying to reach out to other friends who want to play this game, who want to play Dungeons and Dragons via Facebook. I have the portal. You don't need it. Any Facebook computer or phone will work. Um, but anybody who really wants to play, just leave a message and uh, try to find me on Facebook or here on YouTube. Uh, and you could interact with other people. So I'll run a couple games, and John will run a couple games, and then we'll have lots of people on this island, and it just grows and grows. We do know that there are carnivorous, crazy monkeys on the island. The rest is a secret. A secret we will find out. And let's do one roll. Here we go. All right. This tells me the weather on the island today. The D20. The higher it is, the crazier it is. How is the weather today? Ooh, mild day. Only a 6. All right. Mild breeze. That means the monkeys have clear sight for miles. I can see for miles and miles. Humans look like bananas to me. Watch out for the crazy monkeys. And definitely try Dungeons and Dragons face to face or online. It's a good time. Face to face or online, I am sure you'll have a good time. D&D, that's for you. D&D, that's for me. Will I ever give up on D&D? I want to say, huh?